I genuinely can't believe it's been 12 years since I've seen this anime. I mean, damn, I can still remember being a sweaty ass kid in the school bus while reading volume 10 of Nisekoi, borrowing it from a high schooler I didn't even know. Anyway, I finally decided to rewatch Nisekoi all over again. But it got so bad that even after finishing season 2 of the anime, I still wanted more. So I ended up finishing the OVAs as well. Now, I'd love to talk more about the anime, but for today, I want to answer this decade-old question. Who is actually the best girl? And before I go crazy on this, I want to let Marika go first, Onodera second, Chitoge third. And by the end of this video, I will tell you who the best girl is. Let's start off with Marika. Now, for her, I want to be honest. She's fine, she's nice, and most of all, she's absolutely loyal. Normally, that would have been a game-winning attribute. The fact she went out of her way after 10 whole years just for the sake of being with Raku is absolutely admirable. But here's the thing. For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that she might crack or break after putting up a facade for 10 whole years. Don't get me wrong, loyalty is such a rare trait that it wins Marika so much points. But as I've said, how long can she keep up with that Nisei personality? I'm sorry for saying that, please don't click away. But you get what I mean, right? We know her real personality is the brash, loud, assertive, with an accent whenever she's talking. That side of her pops up whenever she gets fed up of something. And I wish she started embracing that side of her more than putting up a face the child version of Raku wanted. If only she would realize that years later, Raku doesn't care about appearances or the vanity side of things anymore. The most I felt for her was when she was close to repeating a grade after failing her test so badly that Chitoge and Raku had to do a study group just to help her out. Raku even got her something to eat and drink after waking up the next day. But we already knew that was a part of Raku being a good person. Not to mention that time she made a chocolate statue for Raku, but it got destroyed after running around the school, and then he felt so bad for her, he ate the chocolate straight from the floor. Now, that is something I absolutely respect from Raku, but I feel like there's so much more development and progress with their relationship. It's just, the show never really put that much focus on their dynamic, which sucks. But I guess you can't fit it all in 2 seasons. Next, we have Onodera, and I want to tell you this. I like her a lot. I like her relationship with Raku, I like her personality, and I like her character. And you know what I think about Raku x Onodera? I think it's the perfect pairing. I think they fit each other. She likes him, he likes her. But here's the thing. On one hand, it does feel boring. But on the other hand, I'd rather they end up with each other. Other than Marika, since the beginning, she's only had eyes for Raku. Now, what if the manga and the anime introduced a guy who had a thing for Onodera? It probably would have made her relationship with Raku so much more interesting because we could see how she would handle a guy who likes her when she has no interest in him. I've never been a fan of third parties because I always hated them. But again, it would have added more depth and how their dynamic deal with such things. So yeah, it's a pairing I can find myself supporting. It's cute, it's wholesome, and I even remember that one moment where Raku gave her food because he saw how gloomy she was, not knowing she was conscious of gaining weight even though Onodera clearly wasn't overweight, and that her scales were actually broken. But she turned down his offer and looked far worse after. Still, Raku found a way to give her a bottle of tea and mentioned that she probably needs to eat more because she actually looked thin, and talked about how important it was to eat right and not miss out on meals. And I liked the way it ended. It wasn't flashy nor was it dramatic, but it was a simple gesture that showed how caring Raku was for Onodera's well-being. Although, you know what? All of this talking about Raku got me thinking about how much of a Chad he is. It's almost second nature in him to help people out. Anyways, there's not much to talk about the relationship. The marriage dream in the OVA episode was very wholesome, and again, the perfect life for Raku at least. But I don't know, I feel like it's the perfect couple, but you know, not much to go about it. Let's just move on to the next. Then we have Chitoge. You know, growing up, for some reason I had a thing for blondes. I don't know why Kid Me had a thing for blondes, but that was one of the reasons why I liked Chitoge, and why I treated her as the best girl for so many years. Now that I'm older, I want to be honest. I'm not that much of a big fan towards Chitoge anymore. I just think her aggressive demeanor to Raku compared to Onodera's kinder nature was a stark contrast, which did make me feel like Onodera was a better partner for Raku. That's when I realized how big of a moment Chitoge and Raku mending their relationship was. I mean, someone has to give in, and depending on how it all goes down, would change me from supporting Onodera back to rooting for Chitoge. And there were two instances that it happened. First was after the beach arc, and the other during the culture festival. When Raku said at the beach he could never see a relationship between him and Chitoge ever working, that really messed her up. But it makes sense for Raku to say. I mean, here's a girl who clearly hates her guts, calls you nicknames, and doesn't like being around you. Who wouldn't say the same? Because I'm confused too. Chitoge doesn't like Raku, but we know at least she's starting to soften up to him. I just find it odd she took offense to what Raku said, when since the beginning she has shown clear signs of disliking him. Although yeah, the added comments he did say about her being less girly and all the other stuff was a little bit underhanded, it's not something they aren't used to. So when Raku decided to stand his ground, I agreed with him. Sure, things could have been communicated better, but sometimes Chitoge needed a wake-up call, and this ended up being one. She's starting to like Raku, and all this tsundere act she's been putting up, which was already excessive in the first place, was now catching up to her. That's why things turn out like this. But look, I'm glad Raku was able to clear it up and say he didn't actually hate her. This was genuine progress with their relationship. And I'm reminded why I freaking love Chitoge to end up with Raku because of stuff like this. And now that we're nearing the end of this video, I can finally say who the best girl is in Nisekoi. Drumroll please. It's not Marika, it's not Onodera, and it's not Chitoge. The best girl in all of Nisekoi is Sugumi, the blue-haired tomboy who barely had any screen time with Raku but still had the most impact to me, won this whole shit. And no, I am not trolling. You do not know how fucking amazing Sugumi is. I literally have every episode of Sugumi interacting, talking, and going crazy over Raku bookmarked. Like you genuinely don't understand how amazing she is. I'ma tell you up front, I barely felt any romance between Raku and Onodera, Raku and Marika, or even Raku with Chitoge. Mind you, when I was a kid, I shipped Chitoge and Raku so hard. But don't get me wrong, they all seem like nice ladies. If Raku falls in love and decides to confess between any of these girls, he's not doing anything wrong. But my fucking goodness, every interaction he's had with Sugumi, ever since they first met, up until her final appearance in that OVA, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I was genuinely flustered, blushing, kicking my feet up in the air every time these two were together. I don't know what the frick Naoshi Komi was smoking when he was writing Sugumi, but my word did he make one of the most memorable characters in this whole anime. So there you have it, the best girl in Nisekoi is a tomboy. I pray in my lifetime I can at least see one episode dedicated to Raku and Sugumi. I don't care if it's fan-made or if I get blessed an official one. I just want one episode with these two. Is that too much to ask? Maybe 2, 3 episodes? Is that too greedy? Okay, I'm done. Look, if I can see these two again, I would genuinely be so fucking happy. But there you have it. Sugumi is indeed best girl. I'm Aaron. Have a blessed day, afternoon, evening, everybody. I'll see you on the next video. Sayonara. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm making a whole video dedicated to her, so look forward to that. Alright.